I'm going to ask you right now, I'd say, okay, Dave, why don't you introduce yourself? And then I'd like to ask you one of your top questions. You're going to say, well, the number one myth that I get is, what search engine strategy definitely does not work and why. And at the end, tell me where I can go get more free videos just like this one. So we'll make up a domain. You'll say, I don't know, give me a domain that you own that you could send people to.
Yep, the SEOmethod.com. Okay, so you want me to kick off with what's the biggest myth?
Yeah, give me, cause we're gonna do the biggest myth. The biggest myth. So you introduce yourself, tell us where you're from, and then, answer, tell me what the top question is, and then the answer, and then tell me where to go to get more. And I'm gonna time this, okay?
This is David Jennings from the SEOmethod.com. I'm just going to answer one of the biggest myths that people always ask when they first get started out in search engines, and I get this question all the time. People come on board and they want to know, are blog networks a way of gaming the search engines, and can they actually hurt your website rankings? And, well, the short of it, the long and the short of it is it really does depend. Depending on who's actually setting up the network and how it's structured. There's a few key questions that you need to ask to make sure that you are going after the right blog networks. And if you want to find out more about those, head over to the SEOmethod.com.
Okay, great. So that whole thing was 45 seconds. And the only thing I'd do if I were coaching you right now, first of all, you did a great job. You told me who you were, where you're from, what the question is. You answered it, and you told me where I can go get more, which is fabulous. What I would probably do if I were you is I'd give them a little more meat. In other words, I'd give someone a specific example of what does work, what you've seen work, and something that doesn't work. Because the more specific you are, the more likely they are to believe you and trust you. And after all, you're promising something in your headline because the title that you might go after here, in terms of what you'd optimize for, is do SEO blog farms work? Or, again, something like that. Farms work. And again, I'm just doing a quick search here, and there's about 113,000 competitive pages for that. I didn't put quotes around it, but the top one just says building blog farms for SEO, and that's a SEO web hosting. Another one is how to create and use a blog farm, how to make money online with SEO. But the bottom line is I don't see any videos here. So if you just made a little video like that using a cheap $100 camera like a Flip or even a webcam, and you submitted it, there's a very high probability. I'd say almost for sure you would instantly, you'd show up probably in about 15 minutes, some of your content, and you'd probably have a Google top 10 within less than 24 hours, okay? Now, what you'd probably want to do here is do a little more keyword research. So if I just went to the Google Keyword Finder, the Google Keyword Tool, which I've just done, and I always forget how to get there, so I just type in Google Keyword Tool, and I'm going to just type in blog farms, and I'm also going to do SEO blog farm, and I just went in here, so I'm doing this in real time, and I've never done this research before. We didn't plan this. And I'm looking to see monthly global search volume here, and the top one is Farm Blog and Farm Blogspot, Blogs Farm. And so obviously Farm Blog is about really real farms, but you'd basically find some keyword phrases that would somehow be related to this, okay? But and then you'd basically pick that keyword phrase, make a video that uses those keywords in it, and submit it. So the net here is I don't know if that would be a money phrase, but it certainly would be a way to find and target and get people who are interested in SEO, who are probably more advanced because they know what this is, to come to your site. And if you offer them, the top 100 myths about search engine marketing as a little ebook, which would basically be a transcript of all your videos, and then the top 20 videos, it'd be a pretty compelling reason for someone to join your list. Bottom line is we could sit here and do 20 of these little interview questions in probably less than an hour. We could broadcast them out in almost no time. And in an afternoon, you could almost be guaranteed that you can completely dominate a search engine niche using the strategy. Now, there's more to the 10-10-4 than this, but that we made a good start because we started out with the frequently asked questions, but the next 10 videos we make in the second 10 is the should ask question. So if I said, okay, Dave, you've been at this, how long have you been doing SEO?
Good 7 years now.
Okay, so you've been at it 7 years, so I want you to save me 7 years of pain, because I assume you've probably wasted an enormous amount of time, and waste is not really the right word. In other words, in order to learn what you've learned, you've gone through a lot of trial and error, you've studied a whole bunch of stuff, you've probably bought a whole bunch of products, some of which work, some of which don't work, and you've arrived at certain conclusions that if I came to you and I said, okay, Dave, I want you to give me a crash course in search engine marketing, and I want you to tell me, if I wanted to learn as much as you do in as short a period of time as possible, what should I ask you right now? What's the number one thing that makes the biggest difference?
The biggest thing that you could probably learn is how to have a system and a method in place that you can repeat. So it doesn't necessarily mean that there's an exact or perfect formula for getting rankings. There's a few sort of golden rules that you should be following, and it's all about getting your inbound links with the right anchor text from a variety of different sources. It's just a matter of coming up with a repeatable process that you can put in place so it can then be outsourced, because the real key, the leverage that you get, is the outsourcing of that method, because you can keep on learning different tricks and tactics, and there's a new one popping up every week, but the real key is actually getting something into place and getting it actioned.
Great. And so what I'm hearing, and this is what's interesting about this, is the should ask questions, doesn't matter what the business is, they're all basically the same. In your world, what a lot of people are looking for is they're looking for a magic bullet. They're looking for some sort of a shiny object. They can game the system, get an unfair advantage, and get a whole bunch of free traffic really fast. And I would suspect at the end of the day, there's no such thing, or if there is such a thing, you really run the risk of getting banned and getting your domain banned by Google when you get caught, and eventually they will, because they've got a dedicated staff. Am I right or am I right?
Spot on.
Okay, so instead of trying to game the system, what you should focus on, like you say, is building a replicable system that generates consistent results, and then outsource that method by creating maybe some good training materials that you can give to someone who doesn't cost a lot of money, and you can virtually be guaranteed that you're going to be making some dough. So really what you need to do is create some good content and give Google what it rewards you for, which is frequent, relevant content. Am I right or am I right?
Yep, spot on.
So what we'd do is we'd construct the question in such a way of the most powerful single strategy for getting massive search engine results, or whatever it is. So if I did a search right now on best SEO tip, okay, and I'm just making this up because I don't know what I'm going to look for right now, but best SEO strategy might be another one, because that's what I might type in if I was looking for the best strategy today. Okay, and I'm also going to find out, so I'm going to check out the global monthly search volume. So we've got search engine marketing, search engine optimization, obviously 823,000 searches, and I can guarantee that's going to be hyper competitive. And SEO expert, so there's a whole bunch of varieties here. The strategy I typically use is, and again, I might do like best SEO strategy, okay? I'm going to just see how often that gets searched for. So what I look for is anytime there's under 300,000 results, I know I can dominate and actually score very high. In this case, I didn't put quotes around this. I got 8.2 million competing pages. However, what I can tell you is none of these that show up are videos, okay? In fact, I'm looking through here right now. I always look for video icons, and it's not until I get to the third page. There's a video on here for best business ideas for your SEO strategy. That's the title. So it's on MetaCafe. So the point is, because there's new videos, if you worked at this and you focused on a series of keywords and built your campaign around that series of keywords, and you were consistent about delivering this content, which again is very important, and you put it in lots of places, I'd say wouldn't common sense dictate that would probably push you to the top?